Hey Flosstube, long time no see. I looked and I think it was the very beginning of June was the last time that I filmed, and it is July 11th. I know, buddy. Buster's down below. You may even hear in my voice, you're like, Emily, you don't sound 100% like yourself. But trust me, I sound so much better than I did. I have had 2 colds since I last filmed. One, my body fought off pretty quickly, and like I never even got congested. I just felt bad for a couple of days, then I was like, whew, good, I'm fine. I'm gonna be fine. The second one, I came down with exactly 2 weeks ago today, because I was actually going to go pick my niece up from the airport. Let's make this better for you. I was actually going to go pick my niece up from the airport, and on the drive down there, I remember thinking, I don't feel 100% right. Like something's off. This guy is looking at the bird on the bird feeder. Aren't you? Anyway, if he's gonna lay down. So I thought, I don't feel 100% right. So anyway, I picked her up and took her home, and then either the next day or the day after that at work, I was like, yeah, I'm getting sick. It's 100% happening. I feel it. I went and I was taking all kinds of zinc and vitamin C and everything. It didn't care. It was like, I wanted you last time, didn't get you. This time I'm taking you down for the count. So, like, I have been living off of Mucinex and cold meds and hot tea and NyQuil for 2 weeks. I'm just now to the point where I'm not coughing constantly. And several people reached out to me and said, did you know that the new strain is very similar to a cold? Definitely wasn't that, thankfully, because I'm better. I never ran a fever. But you can hear it. I'm so sorry. But I'm so much better. So much better. I think the Amazon guy is about to deliver something. I'd ordered something for Jim. But you're not here to hear about where I've been and that I'm sick or have been sick. You're here for stitching. So we've got lots to talk about. I have a lot of different projects that I've worked on, a couple of projects that I've started. I have haul and some gifts, and you guys seem to really enjoy the things I'm into right now that I did either on the last one or the one before, or the last 2. So we're going to do that again. I've got some things laid out here on the table in front of me that we're going to go through. The hurricanes have been coming in on the coast. We're nowhere near the coast, but we've been getting, like, not that it's abnormal in the summer anyway, but like random storms and showers come through. Right now you can see the reflection behind me. There's some sun, but that could go away and it could get gloomy again. Gosh, you're cute. Cute old man. Do you want to stay in my lap or do you want to get down? We're staying here. Actually, you're going to need to get down. Okay? I'm sorry. I know. He's so unhappy with me. But I have lots of projects that I need to hold up, and I don't want Buster hair all over them. We're going to take a water break. Okay. All right. So, let's start off with a finish. I haven't ironed it. I really want to take it and get it framed, but I've been debating on that because I'm like, Emily, this is a small one. Your lazy ass needs to just frame this yourself. This is Blackbird Designs at First Cock's Crow. After I heard the news about Barb passing this past week, I know this is one she had a big hand in, if did not do entirely on her own. So I really feel like I need to give it the respect and love it deserves and get it framed up. But I'm still deciding if that's taking it to have it framed or if that is doing it myself. I even did it the way she called for and did the lazy daisy stitches on the vine. All the called for threads. The only thing I did change is I completely filled in the moon. So that is solid instead of having a face. Everything else is exactly as charted. And I love it. So that's that. Not in any particular order. I didn't plan this in any particular order. On the first day of summer, Dana, Shannon Bromo, and I started the Little Summer Sampler by Lydia. I didn't have all of the called for threads for this, plus I kind of wanted to do my own thing. So I found a piece of Lakeside Vintage Wood Smoke in my stash. I got a lot done on this. I should really just crank it out and finish it. I used some color and cotton threads as well as some Weeks Dye Works. I really love this. Everyone really seemed to enjoy the thread that I was using for the vine, and that is Color and Cotton Fairy Ring. If for some reason you have a hard time getting a hold of it, this is a very similar thread to Gassed Tiger Lily. So there's that. The flowers are Color and Cotton Prussian Blue, which I somehow ended up, I think, with two different ones. I'm going to do the letters at the bottom in Color and Cotton Bronze, which will be really faint. The alphabet itself, I'm darkening up a bit from what's called for, so I'm using Weeks Dye Works Pelican Gray. I had two partially used skeins, so I've just stuck them together in here. You know, use it up, right? So little samplers like this are perfect for that. Pulling some threads that you've already used some of, or maybe the dye lot's a little off, and just using it up. So that's that. I worked on a lot of different things. I also pulled this out and worked on it, influenced by a lot of different people, but in particular, Science Knitster on Instagram. She has a Flosstube as well. She finished this, and ever since even when she was working on it, especially once she finished it, I've just been dying to get it out and work on it. This is Hands Across the Sea Samplers and Roberts, and it's a gorgeous sampler. Doing this in DMC as I throw it on the floor, and I'm doing just a couple of changes in color, like for instance, this teal, I made it brighter. Doing this on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Exemplar, and on 36 count, it very easily fits on a fat quarter. I got a good bit done. I brought the border over across the top. I got a lot done on the house. I pretty much just had some of the shrubbery around the outside. So I'm quite happy with it. Quite happy. I'm kind of drawn to pull this out again I really enjoy it. I think I got these two motifs done as well. This one and this. That's my stomach, if you can hear it. Been thinking a lot about my dad lately for various reasons. And Father's Day came and went since the last time that I saw you guys. And there were a few things that my dad and I were into together. And one of which was crystal. And by that I mean crystal with a K, which is the little mini hamburger joint that is here in my part of the country. If you're from up north, it's kind of like White Castle. Sometimes when I think about my dad, I'll go and get crystal because it's something that we enjoyed, the two of us. And you can hear my stomach telling me that, was crystal a good idea for lunch? Maybe not. So there's that. Heather, the Perfectly Imperfect Stitcher, started a sale for her birthday, which was, I believe, last Friday, where she started Dutch Beauty. This is Dutch Beauty. I've been working on it for quite some time now. I haven't gotten a ton done, but a decent amount. But I did change the colors. And when I started it, I was just pulling colors from my big DMC bin that I have. And it was working fine. When I pulled it out this time, I found myself annoyed by that choice. This is how far I am. I'm doing this on a giant piece because it takes basically a full yard of some bargain linen that I got and overdyed myself. It was like a bargain piece of Picture This Plus Mellow that was really yellow, and I overdyed it with some tan. But anyway, so I'm doing my own colors, which are very similar to what is called for, but darker. So I was having trouble remembering what I was using where because it's not a direct conversion like symbol for symbol. And I got annoyed. So I put that down. And then I spent some time looking at what colors I was using, what colors I might want to use. And I went to Michael's and about the threads that I'm using for it, and got those put on thread drops so that it would make me happier, because I was not enjoying it. So this is done, and I'll make that neat again off camera. So I'll be able to pull that out and work on it and not be annoyed and actually enjoy the process, which is a lot of the reason why we stitch. We don't stitch to be annoyed, we stitch to enjoy the process. Okay, that goes over there. I pulled this out for the 13th of the month and worked on it for a little while. And actually am about to pull it out again for the 13th of the month and work on it some more. I did everything from about here down. This is my Weaver's Tapestry Sal by Magical 525. It's a free chart on her blog. I think this is the 2017 Sal that she did. And I'm doing this in DMC 4000. Which is also called DMC Espresso. It's a beautiful blend from gray to brown with almost a blue tint to it at times. But anyway, it's going to be a longer piece. Doing this on Picture This Plus Bramble, which I have discovered is one of my absolute favorite neutrals. I have bought way too much Bramble in the past year. But is there really such a thing as way too much? So I'm working on this. I'm going to pull it back out. Once it's framed, it's probably going to go on one side of my mantle or the other. Although as I have been working on stitching pieces to go on the sides of my mantle, other hobbies have come up that are also making their way onto the sides of my mantle, but we'll talk about that later. So that's that. This is coming out later this week. This is one, and Christy gave me this bag. I really appreciate it. This is a vintage owl lady bag, but Christy gave it to me. Bizarre, I know, but she knew I would love it. Love this so much. Oh, it's beautiful. So I started for needleworker Ellen's birthday, Ellen Chester, this GGR's Ellen Norris 1826. This is a newer chart from GGR. If you do not like overone or specialty stitches, this is not the chart for you. It has both in it. I am doing it because I think it's beautiful and I love Ellen, and I am using this piece as a little bit of a challenge to myself. I just threw this in here with the threads that I was using balled up. It calls for, there's a DMC conversion, so that's what I'm using. I'm stitching mine on a fabric that I know is not super popular, but I love it. And that's what it's all about. And I keep saying, I'm sorry. And I'm apologizing, which isn't my thing. But this fabric isn't super popular because a lot of people feel that the green in it is too much. Sometimes it can be too much. This piece, I feel, isn't too green. This is Picture This Plus Velt. I did very, very little. A ridiculously small amount. The Ellen, I'm coming back to it. I was having a hard time and wasn't feeling great, and I knew I wanted to move over to Heather's Stitch Along, and then I got frustrated with that, so that made me move on to what I've been working on ever since then, which has just been such comfort stitching when I haven't felt great. And green is my favorite color, so it has also been really nice in that way. Oh, I've been working on Carolyn Manning Designs Treetops. You can download her charts, which means my cover page is in black and white, because I just had no will to print that much color. I'm on page 1, and I'm just loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's soothing, it's pretty, it's methodical. I can just kind of go into a trance-like state and work on it. And then once you get this much done on a page, it's really easy to just go color by color and just fill in, which is kind of what I'm doing now. It's fun. I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count Wexford linen, which is really good for designs such as this, because I've described it before as linen and an even weave had a baby and created Wexford linen, because it's just, see how close we can get and still. The only place I've been able to find this is from Silk Weaver. I don't recommend ordering from Silk Weaver because they suck as far as shipping and reliability. Maybe go on eBay and see if you can find a piece on there from someone who'll actually send it when you pay them money. Can you tell I've got some feelings about Silk Weaver? Okay, that is everything that I have worked on. So I want to show haul. Let's do haul next. I'm planning 40 starts for next year. Because next year I turn 40. I talked about this in my last video. So I've been doing a lot of planning for that. You should see my office at work, because it's a good thing to do during Zoom hearings, where it's a hearing where I'm familiar with all of the testimony that's happening and I don't have to take notes. So I keep my hands busy and listen. So I'm kitting up things at work, and the planning portion is bringing me so much joy. You have no idea. But on top of that, I'm like beefing up some of my linen just a little bit so that I'm ready, because I haven't paired up things with linen yet, except for only a couple of pieces. It's been a lot of fun. So I'll just show you a few of the pieces of linen that I got. This is R&R Winter's Brew. This is a small 13 by 17 piece. And I found as I was doing pieces of different sizes that I needed some little smaller pieces of linen, because I have a hard time cutting into linen. I know Nicole can relate to that. We've talked about it before. This is R&R. This is a fat quarter of weathered shingle. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Online, it looked like it was represented to be more of a mottled gray. To me, this looks more like a piece of natural flax linen. It's really not anything special. But for a really busy piece, or a piece with a lot of over-dyed threads, it could look really nice. It could make the piece special by literally just falling into the background, which sometimes is really what you want linen to do. That's weathered shingle. This one is Laura's Fault. This is 36 count American Chestnut by R&R. This really is a lovely piece of linen. Oh, it smells good. It's got kind of a honey tone to it. That's how I would describe it. I love how Hobbyhouse Needleworks sends their linens they come like brown paper wrapped, but then at the same time I'm annoyed because then the label is on the paper and not the linen, so I have to keep them together lest I forget what that piece is. Let's see. Fiber on a Whim 36 count oatmeal. If you do not like green linen, do not order oatmeal. I never in a million years imagined that oatmeal would be green. It's pretty darn green. Let's show you how green it is by putting a piece of aged paper next to it. It is green. If you don't like Velt, you sure enough aren't going to like Fiber on a Whim oatmeal. But I like it. Something's going to look really good on this. The more I talk, the more I feel a little congested. It's fabulous. It's great. Color and Cotton have been cleaning out their warehouse, which means I ended up with a piece of aged paper, which really is nice. I want to say Laura just talked about that too. And I had already bought it when Laura said that, and I was like, well, that makes sense. My favorite out of what I bought from them, though, is this light brown sugar. I like my browns to almost have a gray tint to them more than a gold tint, And light brown sugar definitely does that. It's really pretty. And you can see some of the modeling in it. Not a lot, just enough. Really nice. The last piece I got from them was a little tiny piece of Moroccan clay, which has a terracotta clay hue to it. It'll be nice on a fall piece. Last two pieces of haul I have are bags. I'm trying to make some and buy some bags for my 40 starts next year. I have not made any bags yet. I have not made any bags in like a year because I just haven't wanted to. It's as simple as that. I have not wanted to. It has not, the idea of it has not brought me joy. So Susan at Vintage Owl Lady has been making a lot of my bags. I just got this one from her. In fact, she just finished another one yesterday, I think, that's in her store on Etsy right now, just like this one. I love the plates. So cool. This one is from Christy. It's got fuzz on it. But this is a newer fabric line that Christy has used, and I love it. How me is this? It matches my creepy people behind me. So there's nothing in this. One of my special new starts next year is going to go in this bag. Let's see. Oh, last couple of pieces of haul. I had my my eBay set up to let me know when this chart showed up, because as far as I can tell, it's out of print. If it's not, let me know so that if other people enjoy it, I can tell them where to find it. But this is the Candlestick Maker Sampler by Brenda Gervais. I love this one, and I've been looking for it for a while, so I was very happy to see this pop up. The other thing is my Country Sampler. First of this year came out. I like it. And the front of it is not as nice as what the actual pieces look like, because that looks like white. I don't like white, but I like that. And everything is in here to make this basically needle book. There's a couple of pieces of linen, actually maybe like 3 pieces of linen it looks like maybe, and material and wool and threads. It's a nice one. And you can see all of that in there. This is the One Nation by Samplers Not Forgotten, the Threads of History Club #1. And I have the 36 count option. Nothing I'm starting anytime soon, but I'm going to stick this back for when the mood hits me. Gifts. Sweet Donna Ray knows my obsession that has started in recent months with plants, and she made me this beautiful card. Like, it's so beautiful. And she was antiquing and found this photo. Actually, it's a postcard that I need to frame. I am just in love with this. Hold, please. Like I was saying, I am just in love with this. She's beautiful, and she's going to get framed in a larger frame with a beautiful mat and hanging here in my living room. So thank you, dear. Love that. Lynn Nelson, who lives nearby, we got together to stitch. If I've already shown this, forgive me, but she was doing some de-stash, and I got this from her. Little tiny Lizzie Kate, which isn't normally my style, but of course this Halloween one caught my eye. And Kay One of the winners from my duck derby had all of these older blackbirds that she told me I could have if I wanted them. And of course I wanted them. I'm going to kind of put them in some order here. They're so awesome. Okay, first, tis Halloween. Blackbird design, like Halloween stockings. These September stockings, which I actually really like this one, which is so simple, but I love it. Peace on Earth, which would actually make a really nice Christmas pillow. How big is this? You open things up and it says designed by Barb Adams, and it just kind of makes you a little sad. This would be about 9 by 9 or so, maybe a little smaller depending upon the count. 2 hearts. Love that one, especially with my tattoo. Be kind and true. Sunflower charms. It's the pretty one. These are the ones I'm most excited about. This is Bringing Good Cheer. Really beautiful. And this one I love so much. I've wanted this one. This is Winter Wonderland. Beautiful. This one is probably going to go into my 40 starts for next year. I'll just have to get it kitted up. Maybe some of which I already have, but we'll see. That's a good one. Barbara's a genius. That takes us to a couple of other gifts actually, but it also plays into things I'm into right now, which continues to be plants. I have been enjoying so much. My husband thinks I've lost my mind. He asked me yesterday if plants that they've started sneaking in off of our sunroom into other parts of the house, and at what point he's going to not be able to walk around through the house because of the plants. It's not that, it's there's a lot, but it's not that bad. But I had listed some plants on my Instagram as wish list plants, and Letitia saw it and she ordered her one of these and me one of these, and it's a little weirdo and I love it. I've become obsessed with Hoya, and I think Hoya is just a beautiful genus of plants, and they're easy care. They have waxy leaves. This is one of the most weird varieties. This is Hoya compacta, otherwise known as Hoya Hindu rope. This is the non-variegated variety, and it's beautiful. So this is Letitia. She told me that she named hers Emily. So this is Letitia. Letitia lives in my kitchen window where I see her every day, and she's just happy. It's like she has little pigtails. And one day maybe I'll find her a different pot. This is the nursery pot it came in. I like to bottom water my plants. So she's just sitting in this little white bowl. So when she gets thirsty again, I can just put a little water in the bottom. And that way Letitia stays happy. She's just a cute little weirdo. Kind of like the real Letitia. Roberta Lyle. sent me, not this plant, but this pot. Let me straighten the plant up in the pot. She sent me this pot as kind of a thanks for all the hard work you did on Duck Derby. And I see you've gotten obsessed with plants, so you'll enjoy this. I love this pot. It's so pretty. And it really makes my Mandula Pothos that's in it look really happy. And like I said, I like to bottom water. So I keep most of my plants in nursery pots or then move them into a bigger nursery pot when it's time to repot so that I can continue to bottom water. How pretty is that? But yeah, so this part is going to be also my 5 favorite plants right now, which is my Mandula Pothos, because I had a hard time finding this variety. This because Letitia got it for me and it's awesome. This was one that I've shown on my Instagram, but she has given me these 2 beautiful flowers since I've had her. This plant, I named her Lydia because she's strange and unusual. This is an anthurium. Usually you see these all the time at Lowe's and Home Depot, and they're red. They're almost always red, or maybe pink, maybe white. Very rarely do you see a chocolate anthurium. Some people call this a black anthurium. But look how pretty she is. Ooh, try not to drop her. Look how pretty she is. She's so happy in the sunroom. Like I said, those blooms. This one literally just opened. So pretty. My fancy Walmart pot. She has fungus gnats right now though. And I've been trying to get rid of them with mosquito bits and neem oil, and she likes to be moist though. That's just, she likes to be moist, so maybe I can get rid of them. Next is one that came that I haven't officially repotted yet. It's still living in sphagnum moss. This is a jewel orchid. And this particular one is a sea turtle jewel orchid. I love things with dark colors that are unusual and things with velvety leaves. She is pretty. This can bloom, but I don't care if it ever blooms. There's some other little baby leaves coming in here at the bottom. See some right there. And then there's some more coming in right there. But I don't care if this ever blooms, because to me the foliage, the leaves are what's so beautiful about it. They're pinstriped. How could you not love that? Last, but definitely not least of the plants that I'm really into right now is another one that's living in my kitchen window. I actually have 2 of this one. Because when I found it at a Lowe's, they only had 2. The only time I've ever seen this plant in person, ever, and I've wanted one. And they had 2 that they had greatly overwatered and beaten up, and it looked so sad. In fact, you can see this leaf is still, I didn't take it off, but it's all beat up from where it was there. This is a Philodendron Mykins. We're used to the heartleaf philodendron, but this variety has velvety, luscious leaves. And when it gets new growth, it comes in this gold color. And then, like the backs of the leaves, you can tell, are also kind of a goldy red. This will become a trailing plant Like, it'll get bushy and trail down once it's bigger, and it's already gotten a whole lot bigger. My plant buddy, Swanky Sim, who's also a stitcher, you guys know her, I was messaging with her when I saw this, and I was like, which one should I get? And she said, you should get both of them. Have you lost your mind? Why would you only get one? So this is kind of my pride and joy right now, because it seems so happy in my windowsill. It's putting out all these new flowers, and you can, all these new leaves, and you can see all of these growth points where it's just happily just growing for me. Another growth point. It's a happy little dude. Okay, a few more things that I'm really into, and of course they're all food related, because that's how I roll. As I have been sick, I have been drinking a lot of hot tea, and I like tea. I have a lot of different teas, but what has been my go-to, like I could really use some tea, has been this one. And it's just a really simple tea that I think I bought at TJ Maxx. It's a green tea raspberry. It's really simple. It has a very slight raspberry flavor, but mainly tastes like green tea. And it's fantastic. And I like to drink it out of my Sasquatch mug, because this is my favorite mug to drink tea out of, because that's how I roll. I know Becca's enjoying this. Sambry Stitches, she's all about some Bigfoot. Love this. I got that on Etsy, if you're looking. And I was talking about how I've just been really thinking about my dad a lot lately, and it's pouring down rain outside. I've been thinking about my dad a lot for various reasons. So I found myself at the grocery store the other day, and I was getting some cookies, and I bought these. Because my dad, I don't know if he loved Fig Newtons as much as he liked something a little sweet before he went to bed. And my dad was insulin-dependent diabetic, so he had a sweet tooth, and this wasn't terrible for him. I mean, well, it's not great, but if you want something sweet. So I've been eating Fig Newtons and thinking of my dad, because he would always keep a package of these at the house and have a Fig Newton before bed. Now I'm gonna cry because I really miss my dad. I'm good. Okay. You never get over a loss like that. I mean, you're not supposed to, but it gets better. But sometimes it just hits you all over again. The last thing that I'm really into right now, and this is half because I really like yogurt, because I do really like yogurt, and this has become one of my favorites. The other reason is because it comes in these cute, adorable little glass jars. Emily, why do you care what your yogurt comes in, you ask? I can eat the yogurt out of this, and the coffee is a really good flavor, by the way, if you're into coffee. Try this. But I can eat the yogurt out of this. I can easily peel off the labels, pop this in my dishwasher, and I have a perfectly sized little glass jar to propagate plants in. I actually have 2 different plants propagating in my windowsill right now in one of these glass jars. And near my kitchen sink. Actually 3. I have a begonia cutting, I have a pilea cutting, and one that I stuck in yesterday that I'm pretty sure now was a mistake. I think that I could have just put it in soil and it would have rooted, and it might rot in the water. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens though, because it's already in there. I have missed you guys, I've missed filming, but as you can tell, I have not been well, so filming was not happening any earlier than today. So I'll get this edited together and get it up for you guys, and I'm gonna do some stitching, and I'm gonna finish my laundry. I even did my hair and put on makeup for you guys today. Post-COVID, I haven't even been wearing makeup to work. That's how much I miss and like you guys. But let me know what you think of kind of some of the plant talk, because a couple of people have asked me if I'm going to start doing some plant YouTube videos, and I think that I might. There's birds at the bird feeder. Squirrel. There's a red cardinal. I'm actually not sure what kind of bird that is. Kind of looks like a cowbird, but it's too small. Anyway, squirrel. So I'm thinking about doing a couple of plant videos, and I think the first one that I'm going to do is just showing you guys the jungle that has become my sunroom and living room and kitchen, and the different varieties and the ones that I love and what I love about them and which ones are easy. So comment down below just if you're into that or not. And I'm definitely going to separate out the videos so that if you're like, oh, it's one of Emily's plant videos, I'm not into that, you don't have to watch it, it's fine. But what if you are interested in that, if there's anything you would like to see outside of just what I've accumulated. I know there are people that do repotting videos where maybe you would send questions that I can answer while I repot. There are people that do, like whenever I go shopping for plants, there are people that film that and they're like, oh, look at the cool awesome thing that I found at Lowe's. I can't believe a big box store has this plant. I've gotten really into plant YouTube videos. I'm like really into them. Like Jim comes in and he's like, are you watching more plant videos? Yes, yes I am. So like yesterday I left my house, and because there's a Lowe's, a Home Depot, and a Walmart here. The next town down, there's the same thing. There's also a Pike nursery. But I heard about this nursery that's the town over from that's closer to Atlanta, and I said, I'm gonna go check that out. So I went and checked that out, and I could have filmed that because that was a really cool plant shop. Like they had things I had never seen before. In fact, I bought one Hoya from there that I had never seen in person before. It was a Hoya Weidii, variegated, and it was, I got really excited. So I also went to the Lowe's and the Home Depot and a different Pikes, and the Pikes down there was like 2 to 3 times as big as the one close to me, and they had really cool stuff, and there's, you know, it's exciting. If you're into it, it's exciting. And if you're not into it, maybe prepare to get into it. One thing that I've noticed as I've watched plant videos is that the personalities of the plant people and the personalities of stitchers, there's a lot of crossover as far as why people have delved into the hobby. And it seems like people are doing it, I don't want to say out of boredom, but some people have done it because they don't have another hobby. But then you have people who do it because it is a very relaxing hobby. I mean, there are times I'm sure it can be stressful. Like one of my begonias ended up having pests. That was a little stressful. But most of the time it's nurturing and watching something grow and taking care of it. And then I also have a personality that's kind of addictive and wants to learn all of the things. Hence me learning a lot of the, like a lot of people would probably be like, this is a Hoya. And I'm like, well, this is a Hoya compacta and blah, 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 blah. You know, I enjoy learning all of the little detail-y things, but not too deep, if that makes sense. But anyway, so if it could be something that you could get into, and you know, they're really expensive plants, but they're also really inexpensive plants too. Like this pothos I got at, where did you come from? This was, I believe, a Home Depot pothos. And this little one was $5.98, $6.98. It depends on which one I bought it at. You know, you get to watch it grow, and pothos, they generally grow pretty quickly. And I have another one right here that I'll show you. This is a really, really common just golden green pothos, and it has like quadrupled in size since I've gotten it, and I just love watching it grow. It sits up on, see there's a new leaf coming in, it sits up on the mantle, and Jim and I both love this weird little offshoot. It's just a weirdo little plant that we love. It's happy. It's a weird, happy little pothos. So yeah. Let me know what you would be interested in seeing, if you would be interested in seeing it, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm not going to film the tour today because I actually have a couple of things I want to do to make things look just right before I film it. Not that I'm super worried about that, but I want to be happy with it before I show it to you guys. So maybe in a week's time, although not, this is Sunday, so not this coming week, but the week after, Jim and I are going on vacation. We're going to be going up to New Hampshire for a week, or just shy of a week, and spending some time with his parents and his brother and his family, that we're all going at the same time. It'll be really nice. And a friend of mine is going to stay here at my house and take care of Buster and Dharma and these guys, which they won't really need much while I'm gone. But she's gonna stay here, so I'll feel good about the house being safe. And yeah, a week off sounds fantastic. I'm a little nervous about flying. I haven't been on a plane post-COVID, so also let me know what, if you've flown post-COVID, what that's been like. My niece has flown a couple of times, and I've picked her up from the airport a couple of times, so I know from her, but she's also 23, and I don't think she worries about stuff the way that I do. I think she's, you know, when you're 23, you're kind of invincible, so she doesn't care. So there's that. Oh, one last thing I'm going to tell you, and then I'm really going to be gone. This is what happens when you're gone for a month and a half. You just have all this stuff to say. So work is super crazy. I said just one more thing, but more than that. We're understaffed at the moment. It's super crazy. I'm better take this vacation now because I'm not going to get another one for a while. But on top of that, I'm trying, you can't really tell, but I'm growing my hair out without coloring it. So I did this stuff to lighten it, where I pulled a lot of the color out of it. So this isn't necessarily my natural color at the bottom, but up here at the top, from about here up, is my natural color. I'm trying to figure out what color that is. Is that kind of strawberry blonde? Are we, I don't know. I don't know, but this is my natural color. I've been curious for years. So I think I'm just going to let that grow and let it do its thing. And give me your opinions on that too. I don't know. So I'll edit this together. I hope you guys enjoy it. I've missed you. I'll try to be back sooner next time. And any other things that you want to see in videos, let me know. I know a lot of people are curious about my 40 starts and what that's going to be, and they want to see a video for that. definitely doing a video for that, but it's going to be closer towards the end of the year once I have all of the, or most of the 40 settled and kitted, and I can like really in-depth show you, and that'll be a fun, really long video. And if you have ideas for things that should be in my 40 starts, comment that down below too. Some things that have gone on the list have already come off the list, and I don't know, I'm really excited though. But anyway, I digress. See you guys later. It was great spending time.